Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be demoing, swatching, reviewing, comparing the new Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette for you guys. I'm going to start off talking a little bit about it, and then we're going to go into a look, and then I'm going to show you comparisons. This was just delivered to my mailbox now, so I was outside running to the mailbox. If I'm a little bit flushed, it's because it's cold and I was booking it there. But this is what the outer packaging looks like. It almost looked dirty to me just because it has a light quartz look to it on the packaging. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but I will try and have an up close photo for you guys to check that out if you're interested. And then the palette itself is just absolutely stunning. The palette itself retails for $67 US, $88 Canadian, and I wanted to get this video up prior to the first day of the Sephora sale, which is November 5th for Rouge, and it goes all the way to November 15th. I'll have the dates down below for you guys to check out if you're one of the various tiers of Sephora to see when you shop, but I wanted to get this prior to the sale just so that you guys can see if it's something you want to add to cart. Otherwise, I personally would have just waited for this sale. Featuring 18 shades in 5 innovative and precious textures in the most decadent array of rosy tints and earthy tones. With 8 velvety, soft and intense mattes, 3 high shine buttery metallics, 3 pearly soft shine metallic eyeshadows, 3 quartz inspired cream marbles, and 1 crushed stone pearly gloss hybrid. The color story is right up my alley. I have a few other Huda Beauty palettes which I'm going to be comparing to, which I find to be fairly similar, honestly. We have Mercury Retrograde and the new Nude palette, which I'm going to be showing you guys after I complete the eye look, just to see swatch comparisons and my overall thoughts if you need this one, if you have those, and all that. So we're going to start with the palette. I have no idea what I'm doing today. I usually plan out my videos, and Stephanie, my friend Babs Beauty, told me she just sits down and films, and I'm gonna challenge myself to do that today. So we're gonna throw caution to the wind, just dive right in. I'm gonna be starting off with my Smith 232. It's already stained pink, and I'm gonna be actually going in with some of the blush tones in here. So I'm going to use Cherished, which is right beside that Petri dish shade that I'm actually going to probably use on my face today. I don't think I'm going to use that on my eyes. So just dipping my brush in there, I'm going to throw this in my crease. This is actually really pigmented. I didn't know how this was going to show up on my skin tone, but it's very punchy. It's a beautiful powdery pink shade. It looks slightly lilac undertone, but mostly pink. But I feel like a bit of purple, but then again, I am colorblind, so that could just be me. But I do sense a little bit of lilac in there. I'm a big fan of the 18 pan palettes from Huda Beauty. The 9 pan ones are hit and miss to me. I even like the first original Huda Beauty palette that she came out with before she did that whole reformulation. I like that formula too. Taking this bright, vibrant pink in the palette, going to use that to start to deepen up this look. I think I'm going to do a halo look today, and this is a BK Beauty 207. I'm going to place this in my outer and inner corner of my eye. These are great shadows to just pack and buff out. I feel like they work really well that way. Taking a little bit of Radiate, I'm just going to blend that through the crease just to buff out the edges and to deepen it up a little bit more. So I have Blissful, Moon Magic, and Self-Love. Trying to see what I want to pop on the center of my eye. Moon Magic to me is just a standout, truly. But I really like how Blissful looks as well. We might start off with some Blissful, then we can put a little bit of Moon Magic on top. I'm just going to use my finger to apply Blissful. And that is super impactful. It's gorgeous. It's a little bit flaky, but I feel like with the finger application, it works fine. Minimal fallout, mainly from the matte shades, I feel. So I think that's really pretty. I'm gonna continue to build up the corners though. I'm gonna go back in with Happiness, which is that pink shade. I'm gonna try a little bit of Serenity to see if I can get the crease just a little bit darker. I like how it looks. I want a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to blend out with Cherished. I actually really like how ethereal that looks. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clean up all that fallout. I did start getting some fallout from that flaky shade, the Blissful, and I'm going to finish off my eyes, come back, face all done. We're gonna compare the palettes to the ones that I have. Any shades that I find similar, my thoughts on whether you need this, if you have the others, all that, I'll be right back to discuss. This is the completed look. I also went ahead and finished off my lower lash line. I just applied the Happiness on the outer and inner corner, and then I did Blissful in the center. So I created that same halo look on the lower lash line, a little bit of mascara, and I went ahead and used that special shade in the palette, Love Stone, which is that balmy consistency, and I applied it on my cheekbones, and it gave a really beautiful effect. I personally wouldn't use that on my eyes just because it is so sticky, and my hair can easily get caught in that balm sort of formula, so imagine that on your eyes. It just doesn't work out for me. I know Huda came out with a highlight as well that looks like a petri dish, and I personally would just skip on that and use that Love Stone shade as a highlight. It worked out perfectly for me. I love the glow it gives, and I think it works really nicely a little bit on the cheeks. And that's all you honestly need is the size of the eyeshadow, because I would never go through a highlight that big. So I kind of like the incorporation of that shade in this palette. Would I use it on my eyes? No. Would I use it on my face? Yes. And I think it worked out nicely. It's intended to be used for the eyes, but I found a different purpose for it, and it saves me from buying that highlight too. So I think that's a great way to use that shade if you're like me and kind of like how that looks. I think it's really nice. I don't wear balms on my face all that often, and just a little touch of that on the high points of my cheek finished the look off perfectly. Now we're going to go ahead and compare the palettes that I do have that I feel like are similar to the Rose Quartz palette. We're going to start with the first one I have here, which is New Nude. You can tell she really likes those mauve tones. I feel like the New Nude has more berries in it compared to Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz has those beautiful pink tones, similar earthy tones, but then the taupes and the different marble finishes, I think definitely makes it worth playing around with, especially if you wanted to get that highlight. You might actually like that balm shade in the Rose Quartz palette. When I first saw Rose Quartz, I honestly thought it was really similar to Mercury Retrograde, and I know a lot of people felt the same. These are how they compare side by side. If you already have Mercury Retrograde, I don't think you necessarily need Rose Quartz. However, if I hadn't have purchased Mercury Retrograde, I do lean slightly towards this one, the Color Story, more. Mercury Retrograde has those blues and greens in it. This doesn't have it. It's strictly that rosy tone palette, which I think is more wearable for me. If Rose Quartz came out before Mercury Retrograde, I wouldn't have purchased Mercury Retrograde. But because Rose Quartz came after Mercury Retrograde, I really wanted this palette because I do like it more the Color Story than Mercury Retrograde, which I thought wouldn't happen because that one was my favorite palette up until this point. So I think it's beautiful. It's worth the purchase for me. I really like the 18 pan shadow palettes from Huda Beauty. So it's totally up to you. You can see there's similarities between the other palettes. So do you want to make the investment? If you do, now's the time because it is going to be during the Sephora sale. So I hope this video kind of helped you out decide if maybe that's something you want to spend your money on. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The quality was stunning. It was effortless to blend out and to get pigment, which is what I look for. Minimal fallout. There still was some variety of textures, and I do really like the addition of that balm to the palette, which I know a lot of people don't care for, but work really nicely on the face. So I'm happy with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this short and sweet review. Like the look. Let me know if you will be picking this up during the sale. I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, I would love for you to do so by hitting the red subscribe button, the bell if you want to be notified of all my future videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one.